that means we're gonna pour. Hello. I believe it is Thursday. We'll go with that. I think it's Thursday. I think we're almost through another week. We're really excited. We are still in lowball week. So we are showing you how to make some on-the-rocks cocktails that are a little bit... they're not really challenging, but they're a couple more ingredients. So I'm pretty excited about at least one of today's cocktails. Keith was talking about something else. I totally stopped listening, as I often do with Keith. So, yeah. So here we are. Again, I have my custom WD-40 boom mic in operation. So, and there's Keith.
Hello! How's it going?
Let's get this.
I might actually go grab more whiskey.
All set
Well,
up.
we should have enough. We'll have enough.
Oh, that means a whiskey cocktail. I'm acting surprised, even though I know it.
Even though you know
Exactly what we're doing.
We have a phone.
Where's the phone?
There's phone. Phone yonders.
Okay.
Phone yonder phone. Hello, everybody. While Tara gets the phone. So we don't run into the same issues we had last time. I decided to kind of pre-make some of these little ice balls because, well, the balls just got out of hand. Let's be perfectly honest. Now, the cocktails we're making, and the one that Tara thought was pretty cool, was going to be a Boulevardier. So I decided to look it up because with a name like Boulevardier, it has like a lot of gravitas, so there's got to be something going on there. It was named after, let me get my notes. There we are. An Esquine Gwyn, and it was like he had a magazine specifically for Parisian expats between the late 1920s to the early 1930s, and apparently he needed a cocktail that would go with it.
All right, there you go.
So he developed a Boulevardier, which is...
You're welcome, thanks so much.
Kind of how do you take a Negroni and Americanize it, and he decided to Americanize it by doing with, bourbon and rye, which makes a lot of things better, to be perfectly honest.
And
so, that's what we're going to start with. Now, I'm trying something here. I'm wanting to use like the speed rail in some weird, useful fashion. So
okay.
I don't have a crowded bar.
There's no, I mean, it's just me, but I appreciate the use of the speed rail regardless. That was a question about gluten-free. And I went through that again.
Oh, yay.
Yes.
So, what we're going to be doing for the Boulevardier, pretty straightforward. I also have a shaker, but I'm not actually going to really be shaking. We're going to do a shot, rested American whiskey.
I already like where this is going.
I know. How can you say no to it? And then, again, this is like basically stealing off the Negroni. We then do just 1 ounce sweet vermouth.
I do love this cocktail. I think it is a very underrated.
And 1 ounce Campari. I mean, I could see it being underrated and so just pleasant and easy. And this is where the zhuzh.
The zhuzh, yeah, but not really a shake.
Good quality zhuzh over here. Like I said, I decided to handle my balls ahead of time.
Oh, God, it's always better for everyone when they're handled before.
I know. Beforehand is always better. I'm going to wrap a ball. Gotta make it pretty, right?
Balls, Keith.
Apart. Balls.
They only get so pretty.
Pretty balls.
I love this cocktail. Again, this is, whenever I was bar managing, this was always on the menu because I think it is just such a nice, simple, it really is simple. But it's simple. It's a nice, complex.
And I mean, how did that?
Yeah, that's delightful.
I feel like it's got to be. I can't see anywhere
I've
on
always
that went
loved
wrong.
this cocktail.
Yeah, see, now that cuts the Campari way...
It does, and it...
Way back.
For people who are really afraid of Campari,
that's nice.
I know. This is a good one to start with because the whiskey...
That orange peel really is required in it, too.
Oh, it is, totally. Yeah. That oil is totally in that. With the gin and Campari, they complement each other. Mm-hmm. But in what I think is their best ways, but I can see whereas people would say their worst ways because it's bitter and junipery. This one really is more of a softer compliment.
Well, and I can see that being really interesting with like a rye, like a spicy rye.
Randy loves a... Yes, indeed, sir. This is one of your favorites. and it is a very underrated cocktail. And thank you for being one of the patron saints of the Boulevardier.
So when we were looking at that immediately made me think of the Manhattan episode.
Yes.
When we went through all 4 Manhattans.
Oh, like the TV episode, not like the Manhattan episode of 2020.
This is where I'm going to.
Do you know how often I get that face in the office?
It's a lot. It's actually a lot. You need to be aware.
So now this is off menu because Keith decided he wanted to add something in the lowball category for you. So if you don't have these ingredients, don't panic.
You probably won't, because one of them's kind of special. Someone overheard us over at Noble Ice when we were talking about how a port would be really spectacular with that whiskey. So I don't know if you want to kind of show that off, but they gave us this beautiful port to play with.
We're going to Christopher Walken Continental. This is phenomenal.
Phenomenal. So.
Not that we already opened it and just tried it. We would never.
Never.
We totally did repeatedly.
All the time, constantly. There is a cocktail that I rather enjoy when I can find someone doing it called a New York Sour. And that is where you do basically a light whiskey sour, but you actually top it with some kind of fruity red wine. And you can take this that step further and you can do a port New York Sour. So again, you replace the wine that goes on top of it instead of like a Malbec with port wine. I couldn't resist wanting to make one of these.
We are really excited. So it's a New York Sour, but like locally. It's a local New York.
It's a local New York Sour. And of course, like any good drink, it's going to start with 2 ounces of whiskey.
So, low balls are often seen. That category is often thought of as a whiskey category.
It really is.
It really, which is why I'm glad yesterday we showed you, some other options. But primarily, the most famous drinks in this category, I would say, are whiskey.
Mm-hmm. Well, otherwise,
Jerry, I will drink all of this if I want to. He wants to taste it. He didn't say which one, and it's not like we can't make another.
No. We don't have the tools at all.
At some point, I'm putting all of this away.
It'll help. Kind of. I'll drink some. Now, this does involve a good shake. You want to do it till basically the shaker is frosted.
Okay, so that is a hearty shake.
Yes.
Randy said to add some salt to your Boulevardier and it'll cut the bitterness. I don't want to cut the bitterness.
I can see a little bit of saline adding some dimension.
Yes. I think it would be very interesting, but I love Campari too much. Also, that was probably really loud.
That was probably really loud.
That's what it sounds like being a bartender. That was a free sound effect for any sound designer out there.
There was a cocktail when I was looking up the Boulevardier called the Old Paul.
Oh my god, I want to have it. What's in it?
It's rye, dry vermouth, and Campari.
Yes!
And that immediately made me kind of
So my cousin's name is Paul, and I will now refer to him as the Old Paul.
So?
That looks nice. Okay.
Well, and then...
So, let me zoom in. I was drinking and not camera working.
It happens down here.
Yep.
And then we're just going to, and I'm hoping maybe like the ball.
So we learned this, remember, we learned how to float.
No, it's probably not going to work well with port.
I don't know, that looks pretty cool with that ball.
But I'm just going to do about...
That's a lot of port. I'm really excited.
Yeah, it might have been more. I probably should have measured that. But anyway.
His voice is literally the tone of din. It doesn't matter. Are we having
hard audio with me again?
Just the shaking wasn't louder than you speaking.
Well, that's fair. My voice just sounds like rattling ice. I was meant for this. Well, that came out kind of neat. That looks
really cool.
Yeah, it did. I'm going to give it its own little zhuzh, though, here.
I'm going to flip this around, and we are going to now drink on camera together.
That port came right through in the nose. Thank you again, Noble Ice.
Yeah, this is, if you couldn't read, or if you can't read, I would never judge you. Learn to read. Is their Noble Ice Small Batch Series Rye Whiskey and Maple Syrup Aged Port. It's phenomenal. Do you like this?
I do, but I think I'd serve it over crushed ice. It's got such
let it melt a little bit.
Depth.
That's delightful, but I can see, letting
that needs a little bit more
much like a
breathing
bee's
room.
knees
Yeah.
and a mint julep. The crushed ice really is key to those cocktails and getting
the water into it. I
Yes.
mean, and that was a solid shake on top of that too. So
it was. I trust you.
This is rich. It was really good.
That is delightful. But yeah, this they were very excited about a little collaboration that is in nowhere at a point where we're going to talk about.
Not even remotely.
Because it literally started 2 days ago. But we are really excited that they dropped this off and that we've got some things in the work with them. So that
and I have
is exciting.
I have a deep fondness for Tawny's. So
these are two. No, it's interesting. These two, the Boulevardier and the local New York Sour, are two whiskey cocktails that both use deep fruit-based flavors,
rich fruits
that are entirely different.
Entirely different. Again, I love the orange because I feel like orange is not one of those ones you usually think of with whiskey.
I love Campari, and I don't think it is used enough in the world anywhere.
Well, and I saw a few original recipes calling for Aperol with that. And Aperol is going to
totally
get too
different.
close to this. It's going to get too sweet.
Now, I like Aperol, but it is no Campari.
No, it is
They're
not
just very
Campari.
different.
It is. They're
candy.
the opposite ends exactly. There's something just so delightful about that. And remember, the whiskey we're using our rested whiskey, and it is a sweeter, it is oaky, smooth, and not as like rich or bitey.
It's so front sweet corn, and again, that's part. But it is not in the rye world at all.
Which is why with these, it has made each of them, in my opinion, dangerously drinkable.
Oh yeah,
because these could vanish in a heartbeat,
and they will.
Ta-da! But I can see, just like you were talking about, that little bit of salt in there, that rye adding that little bit of a savory.
I only have Jane's Crazy Mix-Up salt here, which is, by the way, if you don't get it, it is one of the most delightful salt.
It is pretty fantastic.
It is fantastic, but I don't feel like it works.
I rimmed it with Lowry's and went.
I don't
just
feel
not
like it's
fitting
the
it
same.
at all.
But yeah, the whiskey category in lowball is one of the most famous. But I find it so interesting that we chose, again, the Boulevardier I chose today because I just love it. And Keith saw this and was like, I'm excited to use this Noble-Ice product. But they are, at its heart, if we went by a definition of a cocktail, they are whiskey fruit-based cocktails, but are so different. So I don't want people to think, oh, I don't like whiskey fruit-based cocktails, or I don't like... You don't know, because these are...
It is so immense, and each of these cocktails...
Such a wide category.
And they change so drastically on the whiskey. These will turn on a dime using different whiskeys, and that's why I kind of wanted to point that out. And we have...
Yeah. Is this getting better with a little...
Yeah.
It was good. I think
no, it was like... Whenever I have a cocktail I describe that needs crushed ice, it means it would make a great snow cone. Like it... It is.
I gotta say that this port...
It has a wonderful complexity to it. So that was a great,
I didn't think I was gonna like
the
the maple syrup note in it, but it goes so well.
To me, the maple syrup doesn't come across as maple syrup. It comes across as a pecan.
That I was just gonna say, it's not... We say maple syrup and that, everyone, the Mrs. Butterworth, that's what it... That's not at all what it tastes like.
No, not even remotely.
Definitely like buttered pecan.
Yeah.
And that's delightful.
We did have some shout-outs.
Yeah. Cafe Natasha.
Cafe Natasha.
Our friends over at the gin room. Cafe Natasha is... first time I went there was with you and Kat. You took me and Eric. And their saffron rice...
Oh my God!
Was like life-changing.
They got our teenager to eat it.
Yeah, it's phenomenal.
She came out, you're like, oh, this is delicious. This tastes like this is being made by the most wonderful little old Middle Eastern woman.
And it is.
And she's wonderful.
They're great, but they're doing curbside Friday and Saturday only. They have much like us, which is why we have love for them. Yeah. They're running a very big operation on a very small group of people who are so dedicated.
Small, devoted people trying to make it all happen.
Can do a lot of shit.
No kidding.
God.
No.
I'm going to drink.
The next one, because I just discovered it, that they have some of our products, is the Hop Shop over on Cherokee. They actually have setups for online ordering. You can go ahead and order some of us there. Really great, accessible place. Great little just selection in that area. So wanted to do a little shout out for them.
And then obviously Noble Ice, thank you so much for dropping this off.
And I do think you're able to order wine through their website.
They are doing some type of bottle sale. And you can ship wine in Missouri.
Yes. Missouri.
You can ship wine.
Mm-hmm.
You can't ship our Rested Whiskey, but I'm going to leave it at that.
Yeah, just that.
But they are doing some type of to-go sales. I do not know if they ship. Again, that's another license for them. But social media website is your best friend. This is phenomenal. I also had their anniversary port. Mm-hmm. And then Brian Horseman and I love one of their darker reds that's like one of their specialties. Just really solid, full-bodied wine.
They've got some
wine.
nice
they really
stuff
do.
Up there.
They're really doing a great job up there. For those at home, again, we're doing low balls. What is your favorite drinks on the rocks? We've shown you so far a large variety of Russians. Pretty good variety Yesterday of was Russians. A very long
Russian. They're almost all the Russians.
Yes. And we've done low balls before. Again, in Manhattan, we served in a martini, but we've showed...
That's, you know what? That deserves another one because we love
Randy. We totally forgot about that. The Blue Duck and Maple. Well, there's only the Blue Duck and Maplewood.
There's only the Blue Duck and Maplewood.
Old habits die hard. They are doing a barrel-aged...
Hibiscus Gin Aviation? That sounds neat.
So Aviations are one of my all-time favorite drinks, but I never ask for them out because if you do not do them right and you do not have all the ingredients. Some of the ingredients, it is brand specific. Like, a lot of the stuff we do, you're looking for a raspberry flavor, doesn't have to be Chambord.
We should not be a sign of this. We made a dead nettle julep because we couldn't find any mint.
How dare you? No, but it is, the Aviation is one of my all-time favorites, but it does have to use a certain brand of some of the liquor, much like a Vesper. If you're not using Lillet, don't do it.
Just don't do it.
Just don't do it. So they are doing a barrel-aged Aviation with her hibiscus gin. I think, Randy, you can correct me, I think you guys are doing to-go cocktails as well.
They're doing to-go, and then I think still they're doing like takeout and
obviously
curbside
takeout
pickup.
Food, yeah. I mean, pork belly bites. You know what though? I say that here. I buy a hog every year, and for the last 2 years, I buy it from a local. She's not even a farmer. Chrissa's just a beautiful human being, and they raise Mangalisa hogs. If you do not know what a Mangalisa hog is, look it up. It is a
You'll
fuzzy
never forget.
Pig.
It's a fuzzy pig.
And Keith's always like, "That's so cute." I'm like, "It's so delicious."
Cute things can be delicious.
But they are considered the Kobe beef. In the hog world, and I've bought one every year, and I don't know why I'm not making my own pork belly bites. The jowl on that thing oh my god. It is the best. I'm so excited.
You realize every time you get onto the food, we haven't had anything to eat, and it's like the end of the day.
That is not true. We have to thank, I don't exactly know who did it, so I apologize.
That's true.
Because you made the mistake of giving them to Catlin Miller, who cannot retain information very well. So he brought them in and said, someone gave us these goodie bags.
Someone likes us and loves watching Pour It 4. And if you're watching...
Thank you.
Thank you.
Your Rolos. We got some snacks and some chocolate. Your Rolos literally got me through the day. Thanks for dropping off
the Chex Mix really did me well.
Yeah, so to whoever dropped those little goodie bags off, thank you so much. We really appreciated it. And again, next time, don't talk to Catlin. He won't remember anything. God bless him. I don't even know if he's watching. Probably not.
No,
he went to the recycle center. He forgot that it was 4. Yeah. That's fair.
Thank you!
Oh, yay! We love them. But for everybody at home, is there a low ball? We're on the rocks again. They're technically called low balls. That is a term that we use in the industry that I don't know if it's widely
I think it is.
But what are some of the ones you like to drink? Or what are, there are technical highballs that I prefer with a little bit more booze and a little bit less mixer. Are there drinks out there in the lowball world, just as a rule, yeah, that you guys like, that they're, again, I think
we take requests.
This is a category that doesn't get a lot of love. And I think partially when you go to, there's some bars where, this is a lot of cocktail. But there are places that you serve this and people go, "That's not a full drink. Are you kidding me? That's 4 ounces of liquor.
Well, it's always
That's plenty."
And of course, it's these little... The ice balls are...
Right, they're
misleading
fun. They
too
are,
on
yeah.
it. Which again, that's why I like Low Ball Week, because I've been having a reason to play with the ice ball maker.
Yeah.
Otherwise, we never break it out. I can't just cram these in a bunch of highball glasses. I'm like, I guess I could.
I guess we could. I don't know if we have one wide enough. But we digress on that point. But I feel like this is a category. Again, when I bar manage, I had a whole lot of low balls. One, I like making them. The flavors you get to play with in this way, like, because again, I worked at a lot of martini, I worked at a champagne bar, and actually we did a lot of champagne cocktails, so it wasn't just champagne.
I think the low balls are just really fun because you play with the same content and concentrations as you would like a martini.
Randy says a hanky-panky.
That one's not clicking.
I'm not super familiar with the hanky-panky. Tell us, Randy. Because my phone's...
There's a joke in there somewhere. Yeah.
My phone is on the mount, so I can't Google it at this point.
No, I can't. And I'm not going to get my phone because I'm drinking.
But that's a good one. We'll put that on our... I don't think it's on our cocktail... Is it on our cocktail-o-matic?
Actually, it might be. Now that I think about it. No, he's not wrong.
Yeah, look on our cocktail-o-matic. Thanks, Grandpa. Thanks, Elmer.
Because that is standing out.
Or did we see it in one of our researches? Tell us about it, Randy.
That's the problem. I learn a bunch of things and then I start drinking. No, okay. I know I've seen it in passing. And now I can't remember where I saw it or what it was made with. Gin vermouth.
That's another one.
That's a very ingredient specific.
And that's another one where if you don't use that specific, it ain't gonna taste the same no matter what you. There is no. Again, there's a couple of raspberry liqueurs. Now, again, I prefer. There are ones I prefer, but there are options. You have options, and then of course the orange world. But there's, I'm gonna say 3 or 4 liquors out there that if you're not gonna use the brand, don't make the drink.
Yeah, well, there's ones that just don't taste right. Like if something calls for cherry herring, we talked about that. You cannot. That is not replaceable with a cherry liqueur.
I mean, we have. And it's
to our
okay,
regret, and it has been alright.
But it's not great, like...
No.
Please come back to Missouri Cherry Herring. Really
chartreuse is another one of those.
Chartreuse is another one. Again, Lilith, that's... If you don't have it, don't do it. In as much as, I have to be honest, like, once you've had Luxardo...
It's hard to go back.
It's hard to be okay with telling people, use a maraschino, it's fine.
That's not fine.
It's not once you've had the Luxardo.
It's been soaking in grenadine.
Yeah, it's just really different.
Yep,
100%. There is no replacement for it. Now, we have found, like, as much as...
we're not saying the name because we're pretty sure we'll butcher it at this point.
I don't French.
Yeah.
I'm a German person who took Italian, so you can imagine how that went. Joey doesn't order drinks when she's out and about. Again, I mean, bartender's best friend. Here's your whiskey.
Yeah, we did the bartender special.
Yeah,
here's a shot of whiskey.
There's nothing wrong with that. You know what? Another thing, if you are really good friends with your bartender, like Jason and I, giving them a direction. A lot of people, when you don't know what to drink, as a bartender, one of the things that bothers me the most is like, oh, I don't know, you decide. Well, that's what I like.
What I like and what you like are not the same.
So, at best, it's okay not to know a specific drink, but to go in and say, I want something sweet, I want something fruity, I want something savory, or even a base liquor. Like, I don't know what I want, but I know I want to have gin in it. Okay, I can work with that. But using taste profiles to get to a drink when you don't know is actually, it's fun and helpful. It's not helpful if I have, like when I was at Harpo's and had 7,000 people at the bar, then it's not the time to be like, well, I think I don't have time. I don't have time. But
I got to indulge in some other things. At the daiquiri bar, I at least got to play with name a word or a color. And I was given absolute full liberty, known that I was going to be making something fruity and absurd. I mean, I think
funny.
that was kind
at your
of
bar,
guaranteed.
I never drank the daiquiris.
No. I didn't drink the
Keith
daiquiris.
worked at a daiquiri bar, and I went there and didn't drink daiquiris.
I didn't drink the daiquiris at the daiquiri bar.
I love that place, but I didn't drink.
I love mixing drinks.
I don't frozen daiquiri. It isn't for me.
I don't really frozen drink, period. I still can't.
Yeah.
Just not excited.
It's just
crushed
not a
ice.
thing.
I'll go crushed ice.
Again, yeah, that's the max that I'm gonna do is crushed ice. But what's on tap for tomorrow? What are our low balls for Friday? We've made it through
Friday.
yet another week as of tomorrow.
We've done the Russian. We've done the Boulevardier. We've done the
Is this the last week I have planned out? Does that mean tomorrow I'm gonna be planning out the rest of May?
Well, you have this giant list of drinks we thought about.
Yes, so we'll put that in an order. Oh, a nor'easter. I love a nor'easter.
I love nor'easters.
Okay, we've
In
got
fact,
a plan.
a nor'easter, since Randy is watching,
Yeah,
Randy's
we
the one who
love a
introduced it
nor'easter.
to me, and I have been in love with them ever since you showed it to me.
No,
Now,
I haven't made I saw a Ward 8 on there. I haven't made a Ward 8.
now
in a
what we're
really
doing
long
tomorrow
time.
is going to be the Godfather and the Jockey Club. Godfather's lit me up at one of our Christmas parties.
I'm
one
going to be
time.
real honest. I think most of my friends, we've been pretty damn... Now, we are going to do a version of a Godfather because Godfather uses scotch.
Yeah.
But I will say the
We're not
version
gonna
we
scotch
do
it. With the
this
rested whiskey.
has known to get many a person drunk.
Especially
knowing
when
it.
the bartender uses a water goblet and makes you 12 ounces of it. That was so hard. It was a tough evening.
It's a tough evening, but I have to plan a bunch more stuff because, again, we are going to be doing this through May, Monday through Friday. We will pour it for...
I have to figure out what she's planning so then I can try and wing it together.
I also try to stay a couple weeks ahead, but I'm a little behind. It's license renewal season, so
And in a month.
I'm busy.
Every time I
But
told
we'll
you, I was
work
like,
on it.
You garbled it.
But if there is something that you guys are interested or want to learn about, or like, hey, this is my favorite drink and I want the world to know how to make it,
Let us know.
shoot us a message. Don't leave a comment on here because we don't rewatch these.
No,
We only
don't.
answer the questions live.
This is it. This is our only interaction.
I download it and put it on YouTube and then never think of it again. Unless someone comments, but then I'm not rewatching it anyway. I actually yelled the other day when I downloaded it. It made me started watching it. I was like, I don't want to watch them!
No. We don't
Yeah.
want to be on your guys' end. We love our end.
Yes, but if there's, again, something that you're really interested in, or we were talking about, there's a whole lot of categories we've not even
There's tons of cocktails.
waded into. I mean, we're still at very intro level.
Well, and intro level, we're trying to go with, like, classics.
Yeah, we're still in the classic phase.
I mean, when we wanted to talk about, like, God forbid, trying to do a class in winter, when I started thinking about, like, Tom and Jerry's and hot buttered rums and, you know,
Well, again,
you
I
do
mean,
these different batters.
My
and,
super vast knowledge of champagne and Prosecco cocktails.
Oh, yeah.
Everyone's like, what, there's 3?
No.
Ah, you're hilarious.
There are so many more things we can do. We haven't
Yeah.
even grazed the surface. I mean, we
Plus,
have...
we have a cocktail-o-matic that has 80 different drinks on it that we could just wheel around. That's going to get weird.
I'll
if
give
we
you
do
after
that.
the stinger, maybe like 30 of them are going to be appetizing.
It'll be great. But feel free to drop us a line. Again, we will do this through May, and then even after, I think we're going to keep this as a monthly or a weekly.
It won't be able to keep up with it daily, but it's
Yeah,
an
no.
intermittent
I think
fun
a
thing.
monthly or a weekly pour it for after all of this will still be fun. But I will plan the next couple of weeks. I forgot that I made a whole list of
Cocktails that are kind of on our list.
things that we really like. But feel free to add input. And again,
Yeah.
thanks for joining us as always. Thanks to our friends at Noble Ice.
Yes.
If you want to drop us off booze to play with, we usually don't say no. So,
Oh, no, we never say no.
we need to get some more Big O. We need to get a new label Big O.
We do. We need to get an updated Big O.
So, I think that's it for today.
that covers
So,
it.
stay safe.
Stay healthy and
Keep your
your
spirits
spirits
up. Boop. I'm going to take a sip before I awkward zoom. God, I love Campari. Okay. We're going to finish on that.